Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat and welcome to the only daily talk show para sa ating kapwang kababayan na naninirahan sa Los Angeles at Hawaii. Ako po si G. Tonji and welcome to Kababayan Today. We start off our week with a very meaningful show. In 1901, the bells of Balangiga, religious relics and a spiritual symbol of the Philippines, were seized by American soldiers. 114 years later, there is a committee of both American and Filipino professionals, artists, and citizens that has launched a joyful marathon with the goal of returning the bells to their rightful owner. As one of our guests today passionately said, the bells are not something you can keep as a war trophy, said Logan Clarke. These bells are a symbol of freedom and faith of the Filipino people, and it is a disgrace that the Americans have kept them for over a century. The time has come to return the bells. It is the just thing to do to honor that time in history. Mga kababayan, kasama po natin dito sa Kababayan Today si Clarke Logan, isang private detective at artista din nung araw mula sa Pilipinas that is spearheading this. Joining him is Oscar Peñaranda, a writer and educator. Gentlemen, welcome to Kababayan Today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mga kuya.
Yes,
All right, so pag-usapan natin to, let's talk about this. Bring back the bells. Why is it significant that we bring the bells back? Logan?
First of all, they're a religious relic, and they're a symbol of the freedom of the Philippines. And they had nothing to do with the war, the battle, other than somebody rang the bell. It had nothing to do with the church. The church didn't organize it. And we have specific rules. In the United States, there's a thing called, in the United States Army, there's civilian affairs. Civil affairs, civilian affairs. They have one purpose only. The only reason the division exists is to protect monuments, religious relics, museums in places of war. Their job is to go there where we're fighting and protect all of those things and not to take anything. And we did that. Now, that was formed in 1946, I believe. But it was wrong then, it's wrong before, it was wrong in 1901, and they need to go back. It's an open wound. It's not something that some people say, these bells are in memory of our soldiers who lost their lives. To me, it's a stain. They need to go back, close that wound. They're our greatest friends of America, the Philippines. It just has to happen. And now is the time for them to be returned.
You're so passionate about this, Logan. I want to talk about this passion. Oscar, you've been part of this campaign as well.
Yes.
Why are people rallying behind this campaign to bring back the bells?
I think it's because it's not only a national symbol, but it's an international symbol. People around the world can identify and relate to the fact that sovereignty is a right of the people who live there, no? And the people of Balangiga at the time in history, simple as they were expressing that aspiration, which still rings relevant today. And that's why the bells must be brought back, because, like Logan was saying, it's a festering wound, and it's also a chapter in history that we must close. That's an open chapter in history. We need to come to terms with it and give it closure by bringing the bells back to the place where they belong, the original place, in the church in Balangiga, which is now it is in the state of Wyoming, 2, and the third one is in a South Korean U.S. Army base.
Okay, so there are 3 bells in total.
Yes.
2 in Wyoming, 1 in Korea.
Yes. On military bases.
On military bases.
Yeah.
And this campaign rallies to bring these 3 bells back to where they belong.
Right.
Yes.
And for 50 years, these bells sat in a warehouse, gathering dust, until somebody said, oh, let's make a monument, out of it and put them up in a monument. But for 50 years, they just sat in a warehouse. Nobody paid any attention to them. It was a knee-jerk reaction. Because at that time, it was, and I'm not taking anything away from what happened. It's terrible what happened. War is terrible on both sides. Yeah. Everybody does bad things. They do terrible things. That's not at all what this is about. This is not about rehashing the war. Yes. Who was right, who was wrong, who did the worst. It has to do with nothing about that. It has to do with, we should not have, it was a knee-jerk reaction, so we took the bell. We shouldn't have done that. we should give them back to you. But now it's been 114 years. They know now. It's not like, oh, we made a mistake. They know they should go back. And they're trying to do everything they can to keep them here, every little thing, and it's just wrong. We have, in what we're doing in our thing, which I'll explain to you after, as we go along, but we have a plan, a very, very master plan.
Wonderful. I want to hear about that plan because we need to share that with our Kababayans so we can do whatever we can to help make this campaign a success to bring the bells back. We'll be right back on Kababayan Today.